I started this list back in the end of March. I looked at it again on April 16th and actually recorded what was going to be my Maynia video. It was a hot mess. I dropped things on the floor. I realized that I had skipped one of the items in my list because it's a series and I had it over in my whip section and had completely forgotten to put it in. Anyway, I've scratched that one, and today I am filming this for you just to show you what I've come up with for Maynia, and I hope it goes a little smoother. Anyway, I am excited about Maynia this year. It is different for me because this year I'm starting more things than I ever have before. I'm starting 11 new projects. Most of them are smalls, but 2 or 3 of them are a little bit more toward the medium size. But my goal was to try to get several new smalls begun so that I could have them to take to my stitching meetups and travel projects, because everything I'm left with right now, other than my monthly series, is a fairly large project. So let's get started. I am going to give you the dates that I have assigned each of these. I mentioned this in a later clip that you'll see because I'm actually filming this now after everything else I've put together for this video. It was in the editing process that I realized I had to reshoot this. And as I said say later in what you will see, because I'll put this at the beginning in case you don't want to see anything else. But if any of these pieces you have in your stash or you have them on your list to start and you want to do them the same day, please let me know and we can do them together. So on May 1st, I'm going to kick Maynia off with a series that I hope to continue throughout the year. And it may take me a couple of years to get it complete, but I'm going to begin with Partridge in a Pear Tree by Hands On Design. And this is the beautiful fabric that I'm doing this on, and its name is Rubius, and it is Belfast 32 count. Picture This Plus. I think that's going to be beautiful. I'm going to do the whole series on this fabric. I bought enough when I bought it, so hopefully that will work out. Okay. The other thing I need to let you know is I plan on working each of my new starts for 2 days. I have a really hard time working on something for just a few minutes or a little bit in a day and putting it away and starting something else. I think that would stress me a little bit. But if I can get 2 full days on it, that's almost what I'm doing on a rotation now. So that will be very close. So this will be started on May 3rd. And this is spring delivery. And I have decided to do this on this beautiful R&R linen. It is Winter Brew, and it is a 32 count. And I just felt like it would go really well with these called for threads. And I do have the called for threads for this one. I'm going to do it just like it's done. And I want to thank Vanna for passing this to me. I appreciate it, Vanna, very much that you allowed me to have this pattern after you finished it, because I'm really looking forward to stitching that. I want to show you this little cute project bag. I won this at one of Katrina Boyd's retreats, and I just think it's perfect to put spring delivery in. It's just the right size, and it's such a pretty color. And then on the 6th of May, I will pick up my series that I'm doing for the months. And this time will be June. That one right there on the end. And as you know, I'm stitching it on Belfast linen, 32 count. And the color is oaken. So that's what I will be starting on the 6th. I'll give myself a couple of days to do that one. It usually takes about 2 days for me to stitch those, depending on how much time I have for that. And the next one that I'll be starting, I'll start on May 8th. And this is a one you'll be familiar with because I've seen several people stitch it. And the reason I'm privileged enough to get to stitch it is that my friend Joanna, who I get to visit with every time we go to the stitching retreat in Sevierville, Tennessee, passed the stash to me. She won this in a gift exchange that was mine and got stolen. We played Naughty Santa, and I opened this and was so excited about it, and someone stole it from me, and Joanna wound up stealing it back for her. And the minute that she did, she said, "Which one of these patterns were you the most excited about?" And I said, "This one." And she said, "As soon as I stitch it, you can have it." And she was true to her word and mailed it right to me. So I will be stitching this starting on the 8th. And this is on 32 count Earthen Lugana from Picture This Plus. And I think that's going to look really pretty with that. And if you'll recall, this is the pattern that I was so excited about at Christmas when I got this thread from my son, because this is going to be the pumpkin. Give it a little sparkle. Looking forward to that. So that takes me through the 8th and 9th. Then on the 10th, I will start my next small, which you guys have seen recently. Someone just finished this. I think it was Connie G who just finished this, if I'm not mistaken. But this is Plum Street Samplers, Count Twice, Stitch Once. And I am going to be stitching this on 32 count lamb's wool Joblin, and I just think that'll be really pretty there together. And I have the called for threads for this one. Real excited about that. Okay, that brings us to the 12th of May, and on the 12th I will be starting a Lizzy Kit, and this is my to-do list. A lot of you have done this. This is not a new pattern. Probably none of my stuff will be really new. It's things I've been holding on to, wanting to start. And I'm just going to do mine on a 32 count Ivory Lugana. I think that'll just be really pretty with that. And I have picked my own colors for this. I did not have any of the called for colors. And so I went through my stash of floss and DMC, and I have created my own color palette. It'll be very close, but I will be sure and share that conversion with anybody who's interested by putting it on my video in the description box when I film it for Maynia. Okay, that brings us to the 14th. On the 14th, I'm going to do something that I just recently received. This is a Riolis Kit from mybobbin.com. I am evaluating their services for them, and I have put a video out just recently that shared with you about the Biscornu pattern that I made and just really enjoyed it. This will be my first kit with wool thread, and thank you, Ginger Gerald, for giving me the tips on how to manage this wool. So Gerald was kind enough to message me and let me know to use shorter lengths than usual and to be very patient with it and give it time for me to get used to it. But he said it would really make a beautiful picture in the end. And Gerald has the companion piece to this that he's evaluating. So I'll be starting this on the 14th. Then when we get to the 16th, I've got a piece I am very excited to begin. I saw this on someone's either Facebook or a posting while I was at a stitching retreat in November last year at the Pigeon Forge retreat with Katrina Boyd. And the name of this is Jumpin' Jack Frost. It's a tempting Tangles pattern. And I just thought that was the most whimsical, beautiful piece. And I did something I don't normally do. I jumped online and ordered it as a download immediately. So what I have done is I have decided to put it on my Cashel Linen 28 count Heroic, because if you see that color palette and then you see those little, you know, ribbons of red and blue running through there, I think those colors are gonna look fabulous together with that fabric. So this is one of my starts that I am very excited to begin, simply because I've been wanting to start it since the day I got it. Sorry for that loud noise. I'm trying to keep everything together as I go. Well, that brings us up to the 18th of May. And on the 18th of May, my plans are to start a Prairie Schooler. I know some of you have this. I've seen you stitch it before. And this is the Needle's Eye. It does come with two patterns. I will be doing the cross stitch version here at the bottom, where the two ladies are cross stitching. And I'm just gonna use this beautiful 28 count platinum Cashel linen to do that on. It's a Swigart fabric, and I got it from the 123 Stitch. It did come in just the other day. I had two pieces of fabric I wound up having to order about a week and a half ago when I was putting all this together and filming it for the first time. Realized I didn't have them. I do want to show you my beautiful spring bag with my ladybug on it again. This is from Cheryl from Tranquil Stitches. If you haven't looked at her bags, you ought to do that. They're really pretty. That brings us up to my next start on the 20th of May. And this start is made possible through a gift, a kindness gift. I met a young woman online who was watching my channel, and we started just emailing each other back and forth, and we are becoming friends, and I'm so enjoying getting to know her. And her name is Gloria, and she sent me this, and I shared it with you when I got it. But this is a Glendon Place pattern, I'll Be Home for Christmas. And I'm just doing this on a very neutral background. This is 32 count lamb's wool. It is a Joblin, but I think I wanted the bricks to show up like they're showing up there. This is on an antique white, but I thought this lamb's wool was a really pretty neutral that I wanted to use. So that will be my start on the 20th. And unfortunately, I'm having to use some Ziploc bags for Maynia because I've run out of project bags. I do have a few I'm expecting in the near future from Cheryl at Tranquil Stitches. So maybe I'll get one or two of those in time for Maynia. We will see. That brings me to my 11th and final new start for Maynia. And this was a last minute addition. I've been toying with this, and I would like to hear from you guys what you think about my fabric choice and my thread choice, because I'm not going to do this one the way that it is charted for the colors. The reason being, I have just this year stitched a monochromatic piece, Quaker Christmas 2, and it was in reds primarily. And then I have another piece that was gifted to me that I want to start pretty soon, if I can, in the next year. And it's a dogwood sampler, and it came with the Weeks Dye Work threads, and they're a variegated red, almost a brick red. And so I'm gonna have 2 monochromatic red pieces already. So I didn't want a third one. So I decided to change it up a bit. But this is the pattern, and I don't speak French, but I think it's a Broderie à Paris, maybe. You guys bear with me for butchering that, I'm so sorry. But rather than do this in the reds, I'm thinking of doing this on a 32 count Belfast linen from Picture This Plus named Valor. And I want you to picture this with these beautiful silken pearl cotton threads. It's variegated. I hope you can see it. It's got blues. That's very true there. It's got a blue and a brown and a green, dark green in there. I think there's enough variegation in there. I think it'll be beautiful, but I doubt myself sometimes. So let me know what you think. Vonna did think it looked really good together. I did ask her recently. So that's my plan. Let me know what you think. If you think it's going to be terrible, please warn me before I spend time on this. But that would be my final new start, and that would bring me up to the 22nd of May with 11 new starts, 2 days each. And then my plans are to touch the remainder of my whips, which will bring me to the end of the month. And right now, that would include all the ones you've been seeing. Seaside Kingdom, Flowers of the Holy Night, Friends, 12 Days, Simply Love, my new one that I started for my sister, and Witchy Washy. And I'm timing the Witchy Washy to be on the day of the Cross Stitch Finish Line seasonal sale, so that I kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I touch my whip and I do it for a sale. Now, this doesn't take into account anything for homework for magical stitches. So all of this is, of course, subject to change. I'm really glad that I put 2 days in for each new start, because probably some of those may be reduced to 1 day so that I can spend a day doing homework. And if I do that and I've already touched one of my whips, I may not touch it again at the end of the month. So May's going to be a little bit fluid, but that's my lineup anyway. I like to have a plan, and then if I have to deviate from it, that's okay. But I just wanted to share it with you. Again, if you have any of these and you want to start them with me, please let me know in the comments below. Happy stitching, and now I will go into what was pre-recorded for my update this month. Hello everyone, welcome back. There was a stitch-a-thon today, or it's actually going on this whole weekend. I finally got to start on mine today. So I grabbed up a Kiss for Snowman because it's my last Stitch 9 and I wanted to get some work on it. And I'll put a picture in here of where I left off last time. And here is where I am today. She has a face. Isn't she precious? I don't have the back stitching in yet, but I have almost finished the bottom of her coat. There are only 30 or so stitches out here to get to the end. And I've gotten a lot of the bottom of the coat done. I've gotten her face and hair in and the beginning of her hat. So in this stitch-a-thon, which is with the Cross Stitch Finish Line Facebook group, you get your name in a drawing for every 500 stitches that you put in during the weekend that is designated for the stitch-a-thon, and that starts Friday night, I think about 4 or 5. It's on the postings, and then it runs until Sunday night. So Today I got 533 stitches, so I'll get my name in the hat at least once for this weekend. I like to get it in at least once every weekend if I can. At least I feel like I've participated every chance I've gotten. I would have loved to have gotten my name in more than once. You know, for every 500 stitches you get your name in. So, but at least I'll get it in one time. And I think that's pretty good considering all the stuff I've been doing with the SALs and the School of Magical Stitches and all of that. This piece now is at least probably 65 to 70% done. So I'm glad I got another 533 stitches on it today. It pushed it a little bit closer to a finish. And so that makes me a little bit excited about maybe getting this one done, maybe even this month, depending on if I get to use it for homework. Also, I just wanted to let you know, Connie G threw down with me. She threw a challenge to me in a comment on my last video because I mentioned I was on my last Stitch 9 piece, and she said that because I had finished 9 pieces before the half of the year was over, that I needed to list another 9. So I told her if she would, I would. She hadn't done it yet. Connie, I'm waiting on you. You go first. I can't wait to see you soon so we can laugh together about it and talk about it. And Lord help, please don't enable me to do that. Anyway, you guys have a great evening of stitching. I've got a little bit of business to take care of this evening. And my husband and I are actually going to ensemble practice where we'll be singing next week in an ensemble. And so after I get through with that, I'm going to be picking up my blanket and doing a little crochet this evening to get that blanket a little bit further along because I want to get it finished so I can put the edge on it. That's my next lesson. I'll be sure and share it with you. Happy stitching, everyone. Good night. Hello everyone, welcome back. Today is Monday. It is April 15th and I have a wonderful thing to share with you. I got a call today from Michael's that my Nantucket Rose was ready. So I'm here to show you what she looks like, fully framed. This is her. I apologize for the glare. I'm trying to get her where you can see the least glare as possible from the windows or the light. But this is what she looks like. I love the way that they cut the mat, as I asked them to really emphasize the fact that her dress and her shawl go down below the line of the traditional page. I think that's awesome. And I love the fact that the double mat, you see the green for all that green in the trees and that beautiful rose red that matches the flowers. And this is the frame. This frame is perfect for this piece. Even the gentleman at the frame shop, when I picked it out, said he didn't think there was anything else in the store that would do any better because it has a sort of a gold tip on these raised pieces. They're not painted gold, they just come across a little metallic looking, but they have sort of a green tint onto the metal here, almost like a patina, and otherwise they match with these kind of coppery colors in the background here. Anyway, I'm not sure you're getting, there you go, as true a picture as I get to see with the naked eye. But I think it turned out, that gives you a better look at it, pretty well. So that's my framing from Michael's. I'm very pleased, and I will be the first to tell you I was very hesitant to go there. You know my history, if you've seen very many of my videos, that I've had some very poor framing done at Michael's before. They had to redo it and it's still not perfect. But that was in another town, and my friend Janet had suggested that I give them a try here locally because she has her things framed, if she doesn't do them herself, at her local Michael's. And she said they've done such a good job that she just was hopeful that mine would do better. And I just heard from someone recently on FlossTube who took theirs to Michael's and had a terrible experience, very similar to what I did. And I heard about that while mine was being framed, and I thought, oh no, I hope that's not a premonition of what I can look forward to. But it wasn't. I'm very, very happy with her. I'm thinking that I'm going to place her in my bedroom, because if you've noticed these colors, these greens and rosy colors, those are my bedroom colors. And that's why my Sheep Virtue is going in there. So I'm thinking this one will go above my bed and will go into the bedroom. So we'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to share her with you. And then I will go ahead and tell you my other bit of news, just to get this clip all in one piece instead of having to stop it and pause it and turn around and whatnot. But I got the homework today for Magical Stitches, and it is amazing. There are, we're on a shopping day, and there are 10 different stores we can go to, and you can pick one of 3 options. You can shop at one store for a maximum of 10 points, but you have to explain why your whip matches what they sell at that store. Or you can shop at all 10 and get a maximum of 25 points, but you have to do stitches, 100 stitches in each of the 10 projects that you do, or for each of the 10 stores, you have to do another 100 stitches. And or you can stay at Hogwarts and not go at all and take a study day, or for whatever reason you want to stay, but you have to stitch more stitches. So for one store, it's 1,000 stitches. If you do all 10, it's 100 each. And if you do not go shopping, it's 1,500 stitches. So it's like penalty stitches. Well, I looked at all 10 stores. I don't have enough whips yet to really do 10 stores well. So I picked one, and after I stitch it and get it done and I'm back to show you my progress on it, I'll give you the story of why I felt it matched and what store I chose. But for now, I gotta get busy stitching. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Dina, and today is Tuesday, and it is the 16th of April. So today I finished my homework for this week for the School of Magical Stitches, and I thought I would show you my progress. I did choose to do the option to visit one store. I couldn't come up with enough whips that had any tie-in with all the other stores. I could come up with maybe half of them. And there wasn't an option to do multiples, you know, of 2 or 3 or 4. It was just one or all 10. So I chose one. And I chose to do the one that is the quill and stationery store. And I chose it because I truly do love stationery. I'm still a paper person. I have used a, electronic calendar at work for many, many years, but my personal calendar all this time, the one I use for my stitching and everything, is a paper calendar. I combine it all together there, but I like being able to write it down and see it and play with it and move it around and touch it, I guess. I don't know. I also love stationery, and I'm one of those people that will order stationery with my initial on it or a beautiful picture on it from printing companies, you know, like Current Catalog or something. I really do love stationery, so that one kind of spoke to me because of my own personal interest. So basically, I'm going to that store to pick up my stationery because I've had stationery printed for me that matches a design that I find extremely beautiful, and that is Simply Love by Glendon Place. I think stationery with this at the top of it would be gorgeous. And so I ordered some from the shop and I'm picking it up on my trip. So that is the store I went to. So I had to do 1,000 stitches in this, and I have a picture to show you of where it was when I got started yesterday. And this is where I am 1,022 stitches later. I tell you, it makes a huge progress when you stitch 1,000 stitches on something like this. I'm loving this beautiful silk. I think it is just lovely. And I will tell you that I was concentrating on this side of the pattern, obviously. And I went on down on this one below the middle of the page, below the page break. But I did that until my thread ran out. I didn't go all the way to the bottom, but I did it until the thread ran out. And that's actually when I quit stitching. I just went on. I knew I was close enough. And so when I ran out, that's how I went over by 22 stitches. But I think it's looking lovely on this pale pink called Bashful. And I'm really enjoying this. So that is my homework. I have posted it. I had a little bit of trouble figuring out how to post, and I had some very kind people in my Hufflepuff house who sent me messages letting me know what would be easier for the people grading it. I did not know that to get your pictures underneath your comments, the best way was to add them as a comment to your post. So I tried that this time, and I'm hoping it goes better. So you guys let me know. I'm sure I'll get some comments if it's not yet where it needs to be, but it's sort of a learning curve for me. But I've tried to do it the way that they suggested, and I'm hoping that makes it easier. I did find out that I got my points for the first homework I posted. One of my posts was very difficult to edit to try to get it in the order they wanted, and I just wound up deleting it. I got frustrated with it and I just deleted it. And unfortunately, I've deleted a lot of those pictures because I've moved past that and I don't want to fill my phone up. And so I took those pictures out, so I can't repost it, or I couldn't replace it. But that's okay. I'm learning as I go, and I'm trying to consider what I could do to maybe do another extra credit. I've done 2, and now I'm going to see if I can't try to do maybe another one that would make up for that homework that I didn't get to count. So I hope you're enjoying your stitching. I am. I had a phone call with a friend today back from Middle Georgia, where we moved from, and we were catching up. We try to talk at least once or twice a week and keep up with each other. And I was telling her about the School of Magical Stitches a while back, about how much fun I was having watching it, and enjoyed all the nuances of reminding me of the movies and that sort of thing. So today I had to tell her that I had actually joined it and was submitting homework assignments at extra credit, and how much fun it was, you know, to be creative. And she just loved it. She thought it was a wonderful idea and had to hear my stories on how I had, you know, picked which projects to do. And it just made for a fun chuckle together. So that was an enjoyable conversation as well, that was enhanced by this activity. I also want to thank Jen. I got notified by both her email and her video. I actually was watching her video and heard my name. There's not too many Dinas out there, so when she said Dina from Georgia that stitched 18 hours of the 24. I knew I had stitched 18 hours. I thought that might be me. So I paused her video and went and checked my email, and sure enough, I had just gotten an email from her to let her know I was one of her random winners from the 24 hours. So I'm excited. I know she's downplaying the fact, that these are small gifts. It's not about that. It was just the fact that I happened to be one of the lucky ones that was selected. That was fun. I even had another stitcher send me a message to make sure I had seen it because she heard the name and she knew it was me. So I appreciate that, Victoria. Thanks for letting me know for sure. That's really all I have to share today. I will be making a new start this week. This is my week that I plan on starting my April start for the year. This is one of my 12 that I indicated I was going to be starting. And this one is going to be a present for my sister Stephanie. So I'm not going to say the name of it here. But when I do start it, I will have to let her know not to watch that part. And I'll have to talk in code to you guys. But I'm excited to get to start that this week. I chose this week because I couldn't start it on her birthday. I was doing both Stephanie Kahn's birthday sale and Magical Stitches homework. So that was a little much to try to do in one day. So I waited because this week there is a stitch along or a event in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in that is an excuse for a new start sale. And so that seemed like a perfect time for me to make my new start. So I will do that then, and I will certainly let you see it. In the meantime, you guys, happy stitching. Bye. Welcome back. This is Dina. I have a couple of things to share with you today. First, checked out the Magical Stitches homework on Monday morning, and I was thrilled. One of the choices that we could make for homework was to stitch 300 stitches on a tree, an actual tree, and one of my pieces has a tree. My Witchy Washy by Raise the Roof Designs has the two trees that the clothesline is stretched between, and I've stitched one and I haven't stitched the other. I've actually stitched the first half of that pattern. The whole first page is done, and now I can start working on the second page, and I'm thrilled that I get to do that for homework. The second choice I made is there apparently was a secret revealed by some students about the location of a secret room, but it wasn't me. And so if I'm very adamant about that, and I promise that was not me, I get the choice of having to stitch or getting to stitch on anything I want, but I have to do 450 stitches on it. So I did that first because I have a piece I'm pushing for a finish. And so I started Monday afternoon. As soon as they said we could start, I started working on mine. And I stopped about 600 and something stitches in and said, whoa, I gotta take a picture because I've got my required stitches. So I did that, and then I kept going. The piece that I was stitching on is one I'm pushing for a finish, and it's called A Kiss for Snowman, and you've been watching me work on it. A Kiss for Snowman was a gift to me by my son during Christmas 2018, and I started it in December of 2018. And this is what it looks like. It is a Petite gold collection kit made by Dimensions, so you can tell. I've been talking about this. It has an amazing amount of variety in it. I will share with you something, just a tip, because I'm going to pass this stash along to you if you would like to stitch it. This is the key. And there are a couple of important things to note. One is there's a column for symbols that are full crosses and a column for half crosses. There are single colors that have an emblem that represent full crosses, but maybe this has one thread and this is two. Then later on you may find that there are symbols for the same color, and this is full cross and this is a half cross, but there's also a number next to it, and that's how many threads you use. So for any symbol you have, you can have multiple threads from 1 all the way to 4. And it can be a full cross or a half cross in the same color. So you have to be very careful what you're doing. You just have to pay attention. Other than that, it's been a great, great stitch. I just had to learn that real fast up front and just make myself aware. What column is it in? What column is it in? You know, check every time. The other thing I will show you too is that there's white snowflakes that are done by French knots according to the pattern, and they give you a lot of white thread to do it with. I chose not to do that. I don't like French knots. I don't like to make them. I can, I just don't enjoy them because mine are not always even. So I did my old standby white beads, but I am thrilled to tell you I finished her tonight. So here is A Kiss for Snowman, all finished, all done, beaded and all. This back stitching was minimal. It was in the hat, around the nose and face and her face, which I think is precious, around her hat and flower and her clothing, and the biggest one is the fur, the little wispy fur in her coat. But I did all the back stitching in one sitting today. So I finished her up, I back stitched and beaded. So I've been stitching on this several hours today. This has been a day-long project. I only had one meeting today. It was at 10. I got back from it. I had lunch with my family, and after lunch, this is what I was doing. So there is A Kiss for Snowman. Now here's the best news of all. This is my last stitch 9. So Michelle, I'm finished. I've done all of mine. So I need to update my album on her hashtag. I need to update my album of whips on School of Magical Stitches. And I'm excited to be able to do that. So tickled, tickled, tickled. Now I will show you this. This kit comes with threads that are sorted, but they're glued to this little board. I didn't like that. So I made thread drops. I made a little tag in the front that says A Kiss for Snowman to tell me which project in case it gets separated. And I just made little thread drops here. This is how much floss is left. There's only one color in here that has one strand left, and it's got multiple pieces to it. You know, this is 6-stranded floss, and so it's not one tiny strand, it's one full thing. However, I've noticed that these numbers are, I believe, DMC numbers, the last 3 digits. I believe, like, that's 321, and you know, if you know DMC red, that's 321. So I think these are DMC colors, which means you could very easily add anything you don't have enough of. And if you wanted to check it with a couple of them, you know, especially those that look a little low to you, I'd do that first. But the threads, the instructions, of course, the pattern, I'm gonna gift. So if anybody would like to stitch A Kiss for Snowman, just put, I would like to stitch the snowman. You can say you want to kiss the snowman too. I'll take that as well. But I'd love to pass it along. I think it's a beautiful kit. I really do. And I think you'll enjoy stitching her. She's not that large, but she is almost full coverage. So I think you'll enjoy her, but you'll really will have to work hard at watching whether you're doing full or half stitches and whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 threads. I did mine the way it called for. It actually has the look of depth to it. I don't always do that, but I did this time because I really wanted this small piece to pop. And I'm really glad I did. I think it's beautiful. The shading is pretty. I just really like this piece. So it helped me to get one of my homework assignments done today. And now it's completed my stitch 9. And I'm excited about it. I get to start Stitch Mania with one less whip. So I think that's awesome. Let's talk about Stitch Mania. I have a clip in here that you've already seen. This is pretty manic for me. I started out 3 years ago on FlossTube as a one whip at a time person, and I can remember going slowly to 2 to 3 to 4, thinking that was pushing it. Now I'm comfortable at about 8, and I stay at 8 most of the time. But this year, I'm starting 11 new things in Maynia. So that's pretty manic for me. But I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I enjoy the variety, and I think the School of Magical Stitches kind of helps you to fully enjoy your variety, because you have a lot more choices to stitch on and can do a lot more of the choices of homework because of that. And I'm gonna have fun with that, I think. Well, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. We sure did. So happy stitching, everyone. And the next time I see you, we probably will be going through Maynia. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hello, welcome back. This will be added on to the end of my video this time because this is a surprise. This is a stitch that I am doing as a gift. So Stephanie, my sister Stephanie, you have to say goodbye now. There's nothing after this at the end, but for now, you have to cut it off, and I will hopefully have this for you in the coming year. So bye. I did check with my sister recently, and she assures me that she truly does look away or turn it off, whatever I ask her to do, so that it doesn't ruin her surprises. So I'm trusting that she's left us now, and I am going to share with you my April new start. It is a gift from my sister Stephanie, and you'll understand why as I talk you through it. I saw this stitched for the first time by Michelle, Farm Girl, over a year ago, and I contacted her about where she got it, and when I went to look for it, it was no longer available on their website at that time. I don't know, I couldn't find it. So Michelle was gracious enough to give me the pattern because she had finished it, and I was tickled to death. So I'll tell you a little bit of a story. When I visit my sister, who lives in Iowa, we almost always go to a place called the Amana Colonies, and it is a original German communal type community that was formulated in 1855. Yeah, 1855. It is no longer a communal community, but they still make a lot of their same products, foods. They have a leather shop, they have a quilt shop, they have a gift store, they have tons of restaurants that some of them are very authentic German food, which I've been to, and it was wonderful. We have had an Easter buffet there that just rocked my socks. So it's wonderful. It's a beautiful place, and we try to go there at least once whenever I visit for multiple days, so that we can do a little shopping and just walk up and down the streets and go into some of our favorite stores. And I believe there's even been a stitching retreat held there at Amana Colonies not too long ago, not too many years ago. And I actually was very tempted to go, and I just couldn't work it out. But this is a sampler that has been created by a young woman named Letty Ekberg, and she writes a piece in the pattern that tells you the history of the Amana Colonies and how it started as a communal system and that sort of thing. And she said that her design is based on the original types of handwork that were done in this community. For instance, she said the women had very little free time and they were never idle. So when they had free time, they stitched, they worked handwork. And one of the things they liked to stitch was an English Gothic alphabet, which was only 25 letters. And so she has included an alphabet in this sampler. In addition to that, they usually would sit around and stitch wonderful sayings or house blessings on perforated paper that they would display in their home. So this sampler includes a house blessing as well. And according to Letty, she designed this in honor of her maternal grandparents who were part of this colony. And I thought, how appropriate, because she designed this for family as a commemorative piece, and I'm stitching this for my family as a commemorative piece. So I thought that went really well together. This is called Amana Inspirations. And you can see all the little houses there, which represent a community. And I think it's so interesting that not only is there a grapevine border, but there are grape arbors here. And the grapes in the arbors are actually going to be French knots. But you can see the alphabet at the bottom. And they even have a place in the bottom left corner where you see the initials and the date. And that's for the person who stitches it, to put theirs in there. And then there is a house blessing here, and it actually is in German and English, which I'm going to do both, just like it's done. And the saying is, have sunshine in your heart. So I thought that was a very sweet phrase, and I think that would mean a lot to Stephanie. So I wanted this to be my April start because April is my sister's birthday month. And I'm starting it today on the 18th of Thursday, the 18th of April, because it's a sal, an excuse for a start day. So that's what I'm doing. I got a little bit of a start on it today, and I got to stitching on it, and I thought, oh wow, I'm going to keep working on this, because where I started was the upper left-hand corner, which is where I like to start. I like to stitch the way I read, left to right, top to bottom. It just makes sense to me, and then I don't feel like I leave anything out. So whenever possible, that's how I stitch. But I started this border, and I've done the very top corner, and now I'm coming down, and I thought, this is perfect, because we have extra credit in the School of Magical Stitches this month to stitch on a frame, because Cyrus Black was framed. So I'm going to continue working on this today and maybe even tomorrow, but I'm going to work on this frame till I at least have the 500 stitches I need for that extra credit for my Hufflepuff house. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I hope you like my new start. I hope you can appreciate the story behind it and why I chose it. And I want to thank you, Michelle, if you're watching again, for gifting me this pattern. It means a lot, and I think it's going to mean an awful lot to my sister when I give it to her. So for the rest of you, I hope you are stitching something special, something you love, something for someone you love. Just enjoy your stitching. See you later. Bye. Well, hello. I'm back again to give you a progress update. I had said earlier today, this is still Thursday the 18th, I had said earlier today that I was going to do my new start, Amana Inspirations, and I did. And because this start has a frame around it, a border, it's got the grapevine on both sides, it's got a saying at the top, and it has a little border at the bottom that's just a small line, but it is framed. So I'm using this for the extra credit for my School of Magical Stitches for the 500 stitches on a border or frame because Cyrus Black was framed. So I got that done. I actually stitched 784 stitches to get it done, But once I hit the 500, it was just a little bit more to go, you know, down here at the bottom to get the whole border on that side. So that's what I did today. I say that's a great start. This is on 28 count antique white Joblin, and it is a pleasure to stitch on it. It is absolutely beautiful. It's not too stiff. It's not floppy. It is really, really pretty. So there's the progress for today. Now you'll get to see this piece again next month, because in Stitch Mania, as I said earlier, I will be doing a combination of new starts and whips, and this is now a whip. So it will be included when I work on whips at the end of the month. So until then, until I come back with another update for you guys, happy stitching, and I'll see you in a few days.